This is Hectic Knife, and you're listening to the Blood, Guts, and Blu-Ray podcast. Listen more, or I'll slit your throat.
Coming to you undead from Elm Street in fictional Haddonfield with a beautiful view of Crystal Lake. The podcast where every day is Friday the 13th and every night is Halloween. You are listening to Blood, Guts, and Blu-Ray, part of the Core Temp Arts Podcast Network. Here are your hosts, Bloodbath, Bub, and Brett667, the neighbor of the beast.
Blood, Guts, and Blu-Ray is the official horror movie podcast of the Core Temp Arts Podcast Network, the home of Let's Chat. That popped this life. Failure Lunch. We Got 5, TV Ate My Brain. Go to coretemparts.com for more information. Rate, review, and subscribe to us on iTunes, or you can listen on Stitcher, YouTube, TuneIn, and Google Play. And, of course, hit us up on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and Tumblr. You can call us if you'd like. The number is 201-8-BGNBR0. That is 201-824-6270. Say some funny or witty shit, and we'll put it in the show. And if you're going to leave one with us this week, a voicemail that is, we're going to be talking about BC Butcher next week, closing out Trauma Month. Music for this show and all previous shows is provided by the Slasher Film Festival Strategy and Nightbirds. We are on episode number 35. My name is Bloodbath.
And I'm Brett667, the neighbor of the beast.
I'm Bub.
I hope everyone had a great Valentine's Day. We continue our month-long plunge into all things trauma in this latest installment of hopefully your favorite horror podcast. We're going to talk about Hectic Knife, but before we do that, we have plenty to get to. As you loyal listeners know, this is the part where I usually rant for a little bit, but I can't tonight. We have way too much to cover. We're going straight into killer news. There is no birthdays. Not because I don't want to do it, it's because there are actually no birthdays that I could find. So I'm sure somebody in the world has a birthday, just, you know, no horror icons, I guess. But there's lots of news this week, so in regards to like films getting release dates and whether it's gonna be in theaters, video on demand, straight to Blu-ray, so on and so forth. So also there's a bunch of shit that got pushed to 2018. Before I forget, the Godzilla film will be released in 2019. So Godzilla King of the Monsters 2019. So there's that. Lots of horror-related news. Bub, do your worst, and I'll tack on afterwards. You got it.
It's that time again. It's Killer News with Bub on Blood, Guts, and Blu-ray.
All right, so first thing I gotta say is, J.J. Abrams, why you so scary? He's trying to get scary. Did you guys hear about that? All right, so
No.
About 2 hours ago, Stephen King got on Twitter. His new buddy J.J. Abrams and him are making a show for Hulu. Original series for Hulu. It's going to be called Castle Rock. So basically, those two guys teamed up, and they have this whole thing with Hulu. And they're going to make a whole series about the fictional town that Stephen King made up. It first appeared in the Dead Zone. And it's basically the town that's in Cujo and Needful Things. And I think it might be pretty cool.
Yeah, that last series that Hulu did with the Stephen King, the 11/22/63, the Kennedy assassination thing, that was really, really good. I don't know if J.J. Abrams was involved with that, but I was really, really impressed with it.
Yeah,
so,
they threw a trailer up tonight online for that Castle Rock thing.
Oh, then I'm going to be checking it out as soon as we get done.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's a teaser, so it's only a couple seconds long. But I think that's awesome. I mean, you know, Stephen King's been kind of tiptoeing around this Castle Rock thing. Like that and everyone thought he was writing a new novel, but he's actually making a TV show.
Interesting. All right. Well, that's awesome. What else you got?
All right, so for Throwback Thursday yesterday, Dan Aykroyd posted a picture of 3 VHS tapes, and they're these lost tapes. The producer of Ghostbusters, he lost these 3 tapes a long time ago, and they have all these crazy deleted scenes from the original Ghostbusters movie.
Oh, no way.
Yeah,
That's
dude.
awesome.
So basically, like, there's this one, and it's called the Fort Detmering ghost. And I guess like it's basically a little clip where Ray Stantz has sex with a ghost. And I guess like
That's awesome.
I guess for years and years people have been like talking about this. It's like a big Ghostbusters thing if you look it up. And because I guess in one of the montages of the movies, they show this clip and people are like, whoa, that's not in the fucking movie. What is that from? And the producer of Ghostbusters had lost these 3 tapes. And I guess he was cleaning out a storage unit recently. And he found them.
Wow.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Actual found footage.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. I mean, this guy's got 3 videotapes of freaking, Ghostbusters stuff you never seen that got cut. I can't wait for that Blu-ray.
I'm down.
Yeah. That'd be awesome.
And then the last thing I saw this week was it was announced this week that we're not done purging. The purge isn't over. I know. But
I mean, yay, Purge, awesome
the
movie.
the Purge 4 is coming out next year, July 4th, 2018.
I'm not going to judge. I've never seen any of them, but...
I saw the first one.
Seen all 3 of them. First one was great. I don't know, did we talk about this on an episode where I was talking about how I watched it and I just wasn't into it? Like when is it gonna stop? That's enough. I've had enough.
It's gonna be called Binge and Purge, and Metallica's gonna be in it. No, that's not true.
Should have been Lars. All right. Well, we talked before we started. Before we hit the record button, Bub and I talked. I went online, was just kind of scanning around last night, and there was just a ton of news. And I know that it's never this news heavy, ever. So, what he didn't cover, I'm gonna just briefly glance over, and we'll chat if chat needs to be had. So, and there's a lot. I sent it to Brett so he wouldn't feel like he was out in left field.
Holy shit, was there a lot?
First off, Stephen King has seen a rough cut of Mike Flanagan's film adaptation for Gerald's Game.
Yep.
And this is what he said in a tweet. Saw a rough cut of Mike Flanagan's Gerald's Game yesterday. Horrifying, hypnotic, terrific. It's gonna freak you out. So, everyone who thought that Mike Flanagan was biting off more than he could chew, that the guy who directed Hush couldn't do this, apparently he made the author happy, and we all know that it's not always easy to make that guy happy. So, my excitement for Gerald's Game is now elevated.
I hope it's great. You know what? I'm more excited when he's not happy, though. Yeah, that's
what I was saying. Same
like The
thing,
Shining.
actually.
Like The Shining.
The Shining, exactly.
He hated it. It was great.
There's a film coming out this year. Should be coming out. Just finished. It was on my list, so it is moved from TBA. Well, it has not moved from TBA. It's still in the TBA list. It's called The Ice Cream Truck, and it has nothing to do with The Ice Cream Man, that Clint Howard movie that came out back in the early 90s, which was a terrible movie. Out now. Didn't even know that this was a thing. There's a film out with Josh Lucas and Terrence Howard called Ghost of New Orleans. It's a paranormal ghost story. It's out on video on demand, and it's in theaters. It'll probably be in theaters for a couple weeks, so we're good to go. Lance Henriksen also has a new movie coming out. It's called Needle Stick, and it comes out on the 21st of this month, February. Festival favorite slasher.com will be put out on March 7th. There's also a couple other ones that are coming out on March 7th. I'll just read them off real quick. There's a found footage film called Kill, Capture, Release. That'll be on digital HD. Blood Runners, starring Ice-T as a fucking vampire. Blu-ray, DVD, digital HD, and
Sorry.
Oh my god! And
I just get the image. Oh my god.
Body Count came out with that video today for No Lives Matter.
And also Havenhurst, which is a film that stars Danielle Harris, will be out on March 7th as well. There's another zombie movie. It's called Peelers. It's supposed to make you sick to your fucking stomach, and that'll be out on March 28th. There's a movie called We Go On that comes out on April 4th, but if you have a Shudder account, you could see it on the 23rd of March, so that's pretty cool. Good reason to go out and pay $4.99 a month to get Shudder. It's totally worth it. The Void is a movie that a lot of people have been talking about as like a really gory version of a John Carpenter, cerebral John Carpenter film. That'll be coming out in theaters April 7th. There's a movie called Bethany that stars Tom Green and Shannon Doherty. That'll be on demand on the 7th as well. The trailer looks fucking crazy. It is not as dopey as you probably think it is. There's no... what was the damn... What was the damn car that he had? The Slutmobile? There's no Slutmobile. There's none of that stuff. So...
I don't know.
There's
if the people could have seen me put my head down and shake it violently, then they would know how bad I feel about those two main actors in that movie.
I love Tom Green. There's a really stupid movie coming out with... It looks really stupid to me. Jason Sudeikis and Anne Hathaway, two people I can't stand. Neither one can act and neither one is funny. It's barely a horror movie. It's called Colossal. It's basically a monster comedy. It looks retarded, but that's coming out on April 7th. There's a film coming out called It Comes at Night. It has a trailer and a tentative release date for August 25th. Looks a little weird. I don't really know what to gather from it, but it's piqued my interest. So keep your eyes open for that. One of my favorite films that's come out in the last few years was A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night. I loved it, and the director, Anna Lily Imipur, I don't know how to say her last name. I'm sorry if she ever listens to this, but she's got a film coming out called The Bad Batch that comes out on June 23rd. The trailer looks fucking brutal. Keanu is in it.
What?
Giovanni Ribisi is in it.
What?
Jim Carrey is in it. And it's basically like Texas Cannibal Wasteland. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. So there is a petition going around right now. This is probably, and I know Bub knows exactly what I'm about to say, but there is a petition going around right now to have Robert Englund play the role of Dr. Loomis in the next Halloween movie, the one that we were talking about last week.
You know, my only quarrel with that is before I knew that it was going to be like the third one in the series, I was cool with it. But it's like, you know, Loomis dies. How are they going to do this for a third one?
Come on, they'll find a way.
They'll find a way.
They always do.
Well, I mean, if they put Robert Englund in it as like a burn victim like Freddy, I mean, that would work. Right?
I can't say that I wouldn't love to see him play Dr. Loomis. I think he'd be great. He's got the acting chops for it, and it would be such a nod to him. And you know, I love Robert Englund. I think he's great, even when he's really cheesy.
Oh yeah,
and
he's
stupid.
great all the time.
I think he's awesome. So, it looks like the film The Devil's Candy is getting a U.S. release on March 17th. It is the director of The Loved Ones. The trailer looks great. Sean Byrne's a genius, so it's probably going to be great. Jeremy Saulnier's next film is getting picked up by Netflix. It's called Hold the Dark. For those of you who don't know who he is, he directed my favorite film of 2016, which was Green Room. And he's also directed Blue Ruin. The trailer looks... there's no trailer yet. I was reading the next line, but... it's basically about a pack of wolves picking off children in Alaska. So the script is being written right now. I'm super stoked for it. I'm glad it's going to show up on Netflix.
Sounds awesome.
According to Entertainment Weekly, the Duffer Brothers want the Stranger Things series to last between 4 and 5 seasons and have no interest in keeping the show alive for the sake of raking in dollars or anything like that. They want to end on top. So that should make everybody breathe easy that we're not going to get into that 7th season like, oh geez, can it just stop already type of situation.
I feel like
Which is good
those-
because they keep them. It's the whole fun of that show is the intrigue and the mystery. And after 6 or 7 seasons, you're either like, okay, seriously, tell me, or they've badly explained it.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
those dudes
just-
have that shit written out already. They seem like those type of people. It's done already.
The
They
way
have
it's been
5
written,
seasons.
though, is they've said something about like bringing in creative minds for it. So I feel like, yeah, they probably do have it written out, but I bet you they have the foresight to say we can change this if something better comes along.
I can see that.
Yeah. So, I only have a couple more things. There will be a second It movie. Of course, we've known this for a while, that the It movie was going to be done in 2 parts. But there will only be a second It movie if the first one does well. That's according to the producer, Dan Lin. The first one, of
Smart.
course, is scheduled for theaters on September 9th. Smart, sure, but do you think that whole statement was just a ploy to get people to go see the first movie?
Oh, yeah, he's like,
Very possible.
Give me the
it doesn't
money, I
make-
give you another.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense that you would put all this press out there about a story being done over the course of 2 films and then say the second film rests solely on the audience. Imagine if Star Wars people did that. People would lose their minds. Literally, the world would stop turning. So
That's crazy.
Just food for thought.
If you want to see what happens to the clown after the inhaler, give us the money.
Is that like your best Cobra Commander from G.I. Joe? Lord Business decrees that you watch the first movie, so we make the second.
Sorry, I brought
I'm just
that.
laughing at you.
I just hear you two laughing.
I'm sorry.
You're laughing back and forth.
That's all I could think of when you said, like, we'll make another if we get some money.
Oh,
According to the Hollywood Reporter, Sam Raimi is directing a film about the Bermuda Triangle. Not much else is known about it, or when it's going to be released, but apparently he's there right now, and I hope he comes back okay. A new film is added to my TBA list in 2017. The film is called The Harrowing, and apparently it's about ritual killings, which is awesome. Cults, totally down with cults. Blessed Are the Children is also making waves with its trailer and poster, and that will be out in 2017 as well. That poster looks amazing. If you haven't seen it yet, it'll totally make you want to see the film. Here are a couple. This is the last part. 2 films got pushed into 2018. The first one is Death Note. Netflix pushed it back all the way to 2018. And it looks like Tremors 6 will be released on Blu-ray and DVD in 2018.
They're filming the new Tremors right now in Africa.
Yep. So it's just not going to come out. It's just not going to come out in time. They're probably which tells me that they are shooting a lot of film, and the post-production is going to take as long as the movie takes to shoot, and then getting all the promotional stuff in order is going to be difficult. So and that's it. It's break time now. Coming up, my interview with Hectic Knife star Peter Litvin, followed by our discussion on the film.
Whoa, what? You did an interview with Peter Litvin?
Yeah, you didn't know that?
No.
I didn't know that either.
Where the fuck have I been?
You are listening to Blood, Guts, and Blu-ray. Let us know what you think by reaching out to us. We can be found on Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, or Facebook by simply searching Blood, Guts, and Blu-ray. To suggest a film or trailer you think we should discuss, or to comment on this or any other episode, send an email to bloodgutsandbluray@gmail.com. We will always get back to you. Thank you for listening to Blood, Guts, and Blu-ray, and enjoy the rest of the show.
So before we go into Hectic Knife and Trauma and all that good stuff, you're a musician by profession. Can you elaborate on how long you've been doing it, the style of music that you normally do, and how you got into making films? And also feel free to totally plug yourself.
Okay, cool, man. I started playing guitar somewhere around age 8 years old, and have been recording music since age 12. And was always interested in recording my own songs and writing music and playing, several different instruments. And I'm 32 now, or I'm going to be 32 in April. I've been doing it since then. And I just have always been making my own albums. And then I started recording albums for other people while I was still living in Michigan, going to school and trying to figure out, I was just working day jobs. And then eventually at age 23, I moved to New York. And since then, I've been recording music full-time and producing music for other people, mainly in dance, hip-hop, electronica, and like rock genre music. And, played a bunch of shows with, my band, my hired bands. I have a bunch of records out, a bunch of different musical projects and our different musical monikers. Most of them are under my name, though. And then got involved with making films kind of accidentally. Just one of my best friends from high school had moved out here, and long before I did. And when I came here, I started hanging out with them and making just short films because that's what he did. And we were making music videos and just filming things that were ridiculous to us and funny to us. And that's, of course, Greg DeLiso, the director of Hectic Knife. And I got a cool new music video coming out on March 1st on Trauma Movies and Trauma Now. The song is called Guns Up, and really cool video, really crazy. Unlike anything I've ever done before in the video realm.
Very cool, very cool. So with Hectic Knife, I mean that was like a real like bare bones, probably scrapping all that money together to get that thing made, and you and Greg funded that yourselves, not to mention writing and shooting. Can you take me through the process of the writing and the filming and how you got this done? I read online about it, but I want my listeners to know like what went into making Hectic Knife.
Sure. It should be, we have to say thanks to the Indiegogo supporters because it was not entirely self-funded. We had about, I think $5,000 or $6,000 we got at one point when we were trying to finish everything up in post, and we owed some people money. So the writing process, so there's a thing that was called Hectic Knife 1, and that was supposed to be the first episode. That's online right now, actually. It's going to be on the the Blu-ray as well. But we had just been making these short films, and again, the stupider the better, because we just like stupid, funny stuff. We both liked comedy. And so we had recorded this one episode and said, wow, this is really funny and stupid. Look how funny this character is and how gritty and like, this is awesome. So we were like, let's write a web series. So, the writing process for somebody like him and I, we lived in the same apartment and we would just sit down and write stuff and argue about it and, come to unified decisions about things. And our rule has always been, if one of us hates the idea or hates the thing, then it cannot be in the movie. It cannot be in the thing, Mm-hmm. And so we had written an episode of Hectic Knife, which ended up being the under the bridge scene where Hectic meets these criminals and he has his old friend Harry. And so we went and we hired some actors off of Craigslist, and we just went with Greg's Panasonic DVX camera, and we went and just shot these episodes. We had a script, but of course, once we have these actors here, it was just funnier to improv some stuff like, all right, now say this. And we just started feeding them lines. And of course, there's a lot of stuff like that in Hectic Knife where, me and Greg are behind the camera just saying, say this, say that, and okay, do it stupider, do it like this. And from there, but we shot that first day, and then we were looking at it and just thinking about it. We were like, dude, can I swear, Brian, or no?
Oh, yeah, swear
okay.
Up.
All right, we were like, dude, this is fucking awesome. Like, this is really cool and really stupid. And I think it was probably Greg's suggestion. He just said, let's make it a movie. Forget about a web series. Like, let's just shoot an actual movie. And that's what we did from there.
When you're describing the the events as like do that but do it stupider, it kind of sounds like a Martin Hannett, like from that Joy Division movie where he's like, do it faster but slower. Do it louder but softer.
I didn't see that one, but yeah, man, it definitely
it's
coming up with the dumbest direction we can, you know?
Yeah.
And in some cases, some more sincere, not stupid direction. You know, there are scenes in the movie where we wanted something to... I mean, the funny... it's a comedy, of course. I didn't realize that until much later, but it's funny to have somebody, some ridiculous character saying some really sincere thing, you know, sometimes.
What were your... For the character of Hectic Knife, what was your, like, inspiration for the character? Did you cite any, like, action hero or anything from your childhood, or was there anything like that?
I don't think so. I mean, we had the basic idea of ultimate badass, of course, but I couldn't, at the time, I could not have named anything. Looking back, I would say the entire concept of vigilantism, if that's a word, and the way vigilantes are portrayed in movies, it's like, all right, they always, not always, let's just say they generally live in some shitty rundown apartment. They don't have any friends, or their friend is just the old man who they play chess with in the park, and they're disgruntled and bitter, and that was kind of the inspiration for it. We were just like, all right, let's make this generic spoof of that character in a way, which I should add, Greg is very, he's really in depth with the way he approaches things. There's so many ideas in the movie that I never realized were the way they are because they're making fun of something else. I mean, for example, this just speaks to me being a little bit of an ignorant idiot in a lot of ways. I didn't realize the entire movie is just like making fun of like vigilantism and superhero genre and the way females are portrayed in those movies, until somebody like spells it out for me and they, like with the chalkboard, and says, this is what this is. And I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense. So it was more, if those decisions seem apparent when watching the movie, it's because of Greg, not me.
I thought I picked up on that a little bit. I also thought it was almost a parody of like horror comedy and stuff like that as well. I found Piggly Doctor to be hilarious throughout the entire film. And the gore, the prostitutes, the bagels, all of it was so funny. And well, actually, one of my questions was, I felt like the film in general is very self-aware, and that's why it was so funny with the awkward pauses and the long and some of the dialogue and the characters and stuff. And I was going to ask if that was your guys' intention to do something like that.
Yeah, it was, and some of that came out in post. My favorite moment of quote-unquote self-awareness in the movie is during the bagel scene. There's two of them, actually. There's one during the bagel scene and one during the knife fight under the bridge, where the musical cues, there's all this stuff happening, the music is really intense, and then the music just does something that it either stops, and the idea that it ended up being... that kind of manifested was the music. The music itself becomes personified. It's like a person saying, I have no fucking clue what's going on anymore. I don't know how to score your film anymore. And so we just get silence, or we get an insane new music cue. But yeah, all that self-aware stuff was fully intentional. I guess if it wasn't, it'd be funny actually, if it wasn't intentional, it'd be something kind of like The Room, which I would love to have made something like that. But unfortunately, no, we're poking fun at the movie, we're poking fun at the genre and ourselves, of course.
It's also got a little, what's the word I'm looking for? Little dash of surrealism to it. It feels like a mix of like an Andy Warhol art house film with like a David Lynch Eraserhead, only really funny. Like really, really funny. I laughed the entire time I was watching this movie. There's no,
thanks, man.
And not in like a mean, snarky way or anything. Like it was legitimately funny. There's no. Now here's what's funny too is there's no critical rating on Rotten Tomatoes for Hectic Knife, and I don't expect there to be because critics usually don't pay attention to films done on a shoestring budget like this. But the audience score on this is I'm sure far exceeds your expectations. I looked last night; it was 89%. That's incredible. So, are you surprised by what seems to be an overwhelmingly positive response? Because that's a pretty good score.
I'm sorry. Was that the IMDb audience or the Rotten Tomatoes?
Rotten Tomatoes.
Okay, that's interesting. I I will forever be surprised and delighted that people are watching it and getting it. Like yourself, you laughed and you got it. That's the important thing. There's this podcast group, the Queens of NC-17, who did like a long, basically almost a dissertation about the movie, and me and Greg were like, holy shit, they got every single joke. And and even pointed out some stuff that we didn't even intend, and like, oh my god, look at this. But the truth is, yeah, there's a lot of positive reviews, and when we have a screening and everybody's laughing, it worked. We've had screenings where hardly anybody's laughing, and your skin crawls, and you're like, oh fuck, man, like these people didn't get it, and we're not reaching this audience. And of course, you just have to sit there and take it. But I found online that there are a lot of positive reviews. There's a lot of negative ones, and much like what happened with the movie like Wet Hot American Summer, before it was a series, it's polarized. It's totally polarized. People, they hate it, they really don't like it, or they really do like it a lot. And I haven't found many people in the middle who are like, yeah, it was okay for this or that. It's like the movie is just so extreme and slapping you in the face with what it is, relentlessly the entire time that, people tend to love it or hate it. And no, I'm not surprised by that, actually, because I just think of like a family member of mine, like, a cousin or my brother watching it and just saying like, what the hell is this? Like, this is not, this is not Fast and Furious. You call this a movie? And so of course there's people who click on it because the poster looks interesting and bloody, and then they watch it and they're like, what is this? And, so not realizing that it's supposed to be a horror comedy, mock action comedy thing.
I think it's funny that you brought up Wet Hot American Summer as a polarizing film, because in my household, it's a polarizing film. I love it. I've been watching it for years, but I introduced it to my wife a few years ago, and she was like, I don't get it. This isn't funny. And and it's exactly what you said. Some people get the jokes and some people don't, and I guess you take it from there. How did you link up with Troma for this release?
Greg had a friend named George Gross who somehow had a connection with Lloyd. First of all, he's everywhere. He's at every convention, and you can walk down the street with your Troma sign or your Hectic Knife sign, and people say, oh, Troma, I met Lloyd once, or I know Lloyd, or I once talked to Lloyd, I once shook his hand. So for one, he's fairly accessible. And then, there's a link at the bottom of their webpage that says what I understand to be the case, which is that they're always looking for completed screenplays, scripts, and they're always looking for completed movies and short films, and to please submit. And so we did just that. We just submitted a screener link with the information about the movie, and we did include in there, and then, hey, a friend of ours told us to get in touch with you. And Lloyd responded and just said, oh, Hectic Knife sounds like the story of my life. Well, check it out. And from there, they had somebody screen it. They liked it, and they liked the quality of it as well. And, the rest is history, as they say.
Are there any films in the works right now? Are you partnered with Troma for any future releases?
We do have something in our contract about if we can make a sequel to Hectic Knife. So Greg and I have been working on a Hectic Knife 2 sequel that I think there's a strong possibility will come out with Troma if they're, they want it and they're interested. And then I'm working on actually a horror movie, which I'm planning to shoot in Romania with the guy who directs my music videos right now, Bogdan Sabo. And that movie's called Dragos, that's just a guy's name. And it's essentially a revenge movie. But on paper right now, it's like very shocking and very bloody and very disturbing. Really actually makes my skin crawl. And we're hoping, and it will be, not that this is the sole intention, but we're hoping that it will be on par with films like a Serbian film or Baskin from Turkey.
Oh, Baskin was great. Serbian film grossed me out, but Baskin was amazing. I love it.
Yeah, Baskin is just, I think, a much better movie than Serbian film on all fronts. Like, just filmically, it's incredible. And for me, Baskin has set the bar for any time I see a horror movie now. They've all gotten worse because it's like, well, it wasn't as good as Baskin because Baskin is just so good on so many levels, you know?
Did you see We Are the Flesh yet, by any chance?
No, I'll check it out. I'll write that one down.
It's I think it's I'm almost positive it's a Mexican film, and it's pretty NC-17. Like there's,
Wow.
I mean, there is straight up sex acts happening, and they're not fake. So it was a weird movie, but it was good. I enjoyed it for what it is. It was shocking, but it wasn't on the level of like Serbian film or Necromantique or anything like that, you know.
Shootings in recent days.
The woman's body was found behind a baseball field.
6 years behind bars for his part in a gangland murder.
Chopping up his
With no
wife.
gang members.
Stealing, extorting, and
50 attacks in the first 5 months.
Sentence.
9 killing streaks of violence, 2 rival gangs.
The world we live in is not what it seems. There are evil forces lurking beneath the surface. Criminals.
Gotta love drugs.
Look at me, I'm a hooker or something.
Maniacs. And the insane. A plan so sinister is developing, not even the law can neutralize it.
I'm a junkie.
But there is one man
Yo, what the fuck is that?
who will stand up and bring justice down on those who deserve it.
Motherfucker!
You're dying and I don't give a fuck. In fact, I'm happy about it.
But
so-
when you live on the edge, anything can happen.
Look at me, I'm a big fucking idiot.
My name is Hectic Knife. People say I'm a vigilante, but mostly I'm just a piece of shit. Lately I've been a little down on my luck, but that's okay. I don't save people to get a 401k plan. Problem is, this new villain they got is confusing as fuck.
What the fuck is a big league doctor? A professional baddie?
Fuck if I know.
All you need to do is find the chosen technology.
The chosen technology. What the fuck is that supposed to mean? And if I don't stop him soon, we're all gonna be fucking dead. Oh well, it's all in a day's work for me.
Thank you so much. You saved my life from that awful junkie.
Fuck you.
About to break your fucking arm!
I want to sit on your face.
I can't believe the motherfucker just said that!
Hectic Knife was released last year, the year 2016. It was directed by Greg DeLiso. In it, 16 or so people die. No one gets naked or anything. Estimated budget was $15,000. Brett, do what you do.
Druggy dregs and hard-boiled eggs. Got orange pills and gory thrills. All this and much, much less are in store in Hectic Knife. Follow the aptly named Hectic Knife as he uses his amazingly cool knife skills and party store wig to take on drugged-up thugs led by the nefarious Piggly Doctor. Alongside his maybe Irish or possibly Scottish roommate and thieving girlfriend, watch as they make a valiant attempt to create the world's worst movie. Will they succeed? So just go ahead and pop a squat on the couch, pull an old bagel from your intestines, sing a self-referential ballad, and just find out.
Oh, it's my favorite one ever. That's the best one ever. Like, you really put thought into that one. I love it.
I was literally laying in bed last night, and I had watched the movie on Sunday, and it just fucking popped in my head. I'm like, orange pills and gory thrills. Yes, I have to make a rhyme.
It's fucking great. Just like this movie. It's fucking great.
I can tell just by Brett's face that he's like, nope, not for me. Nope.
I'm going to start off by saying is that this movie somehow crossed that line to be so bad that it's funny. It didn't destroy the line and like roar into the sunset, but it reached bad enough that I giggled at a lot of it. But the orange pills will just always be my fucking favorite. But it's my favorite part of this month is that fucking like stereotypical New Yorker just talking about the orange pills for like 4.5 minutes, and I just died laughing.
I never seen an orange pill before. I never seen none of these
pills.
orange pills.
Blue pills. I see white pills. I ain't never seen the orange pills.
Hey, what are these
orange
pills?
I was dying laughing at that one scene. I was cracking up.
Hey, Brett, you know how many people in Brooklyn are named Tony? There's all these Tonys in Brooklyn. You know, Tony. My grandmother's name's Antoinette. We call her Tony.
Antonetta, she's her Antoinette, but we call her Tony. I'm sorry.
So apparently, no, you're fine. So apparently, Peter and Greg, according to IMDb, they would write the scripts on Wednesdays, and then Peter would produce the next week's shoot, and then they would shoot the scenes the following Monday. And they did that for like a dozen Mondays straight. They were just like writing it out as they were going along. It was pretty awesome. There's still a little bit of stop animation in the movie, and that was all done in Greg's parents' basement, which is wild. Glad that they're supportive.
It looked great.
Peter composed, recorded, performed all the original score for Hectic Knife himself at a recording studio in Michigan, and it's the same studio that was used by the Insane Clown Posse. So,
well,
did he drink Faygo while
song.
he did it? Was he drinking Faygo while he did it?
I didn't ask him. I should have.
Oh man.
And also I guess the entire movie was basically created on a whim. They started out doing a short film, and then they had like a ton of footage, and they just turned it into. They loved the footage that they had, and they just turned it into a feature-length movie. So there's a little bit of the fun facts that I could find for Hectic Knife. I really like how self-aware the movie is. I've read some really harsh reviews on this film, mostly from people who have never made a film and or only like big Hollywood pictures. The reviews that I read sort of accused Greg and Peter of intentionally trying to make the worst movie ever and really shit all over them for the surreal tones and self-aware stuff. So I'm in the camp of that's what makes the movie cool. You know, I always like movies like Black Dynamite, and I love Kung Fury. Okay, fine. In Hectic Knife, there are some dumb parts, and there were some awkwardly long parts that maybe would turn people off, but they did make the movie funny, and basically like adding a random stand-up comedy scene during a street fight. I mean,
that was great.
That was awesome. Or the song that the thug sings at the beginning where he sings. That's right, he sings and then he's doing the comedy act. I loved it.
I like right in the beginning. I'm a junkie. Get away from me, you fucking creep! You're a junkie.
I beginning of it. You saved my life, and he's just like, fuck you.
The beginning of this sort of reminded me of like Eraserhead with weird camera angles and whatnot. You know, it could be because it was in black and white, but then it kind of went into like this. I don't know if either one of you have seen Manborg, but it had that type of feel to it, and I'm really down with both films. So, it's just this movie's full of great one-liners. People say I'm a vigilante. Mostly, I'm just a piece of shit. I just die.
I love how he's standing on top of the building. It's like that's how superhero movies start.
Brett, what else do you have to, do you have any other, before I hog the mic for the next 10, 15 minutes, do you have anything that I'm sure you want to say about?
I've got lots of stuff, but
go.
I love the terribly acted knife swinging. That's why I had to put that in the beginning of his amazing knife skills, is that the one thing this movie nabs really well is for you to get into the fact that it is supposed to be self-referential and stupid, and they make amazingly good attempts at doing that, and they succeed, and just most of the time. And his knife skills and the fights in this movie are so bad. They are the worst I've ever seen, and I think that's why it pushed that line of like, yeah, this is really fucking funny. Like they did one they did one try, one take at this, and whatever they got is what they were going to use.
the scene where they're all the bagel scene, and they're all just stabbing him. Like I think that's basically, and they're just
rubber
talking,
knives.
Yeah, casually stabbing and talking and stuff. Like I thought that was really funny.
They
did a really good job with
Harry betrayed him. That's crazy.
Oh, I saw that coming. By Villain Monthly, like the piece of paper they had like a picture and like random words stapled on. The magazine gag was one of my favorite. All the random magazines he threw down. Like I read tons of magazines, like not Villain Monthly and Villain Monthly. I was just fucking dying.
So a couple weeks ago, I had to get a PO box and.
For the serial killer thing? For the serial killer thing?
No.
Oh, okay.
But I had to get a P.O. box. And I had just seen the film. The guy behind the counter is like filling out the card and whatever. And he's like, "What's your name?" And my response was, because I just watched it the night before, and I was like, "I'm Piggly Doctor. I'm the villain." And he like looked at me like I had 5 heads. I was like, I was in a dumb movie I saw last night. Don't worry about it. And I gave him my real name. But it does find a way to stick with you. It's dopey. That's what it's all about. This is a perfect trauma film. This is perfectly catered to Trauma's audience and Trauma's goofy sense of humor. I thought it was great.
And it's This movie's so new. Like, I mean, it's like only within the last year that this movie came out. I feel like 10 years down the road, this movie's gonna be something. I feel like it's gonna stick around.
I think that Peter and Greg are gonna have I think they're gonna have a long career, because this is what you do. Like people make films, and they're usually the first films that they make. They don't become cult classics like right away, or at all. But they learn from the experience, and in each film they do gets better. And I think that they have a very good sense of humor. Fuck, man, James Gunn did Tromeo. He wrote Tromeo and Juliet, and now he's directing Guardians of the Galaxy.
Of the Galaxy. I know, it's fucking crazy.
There's no reason that these two guys, and they did it with $15,000 that they raised themselves. So you give them some money, I'm sure that they could make something, better or whatever. But I liked it in the beginning that there was just a ton of brutal kills in the first few minutes. I thought that was awesome. There's just blood everywhere. There's the part with the junkie, which was wild, and then there's just people getting shot in the head and all kinds of cool stuff happening. And I thought that was really cool. I loved Piggly Doctor and his cycloptic assistant. For one, I thought she was, not so hard on the eyes, and I thought that he was really, really funny, and they were like the most self-referential, I think, out of all the characters, which always makes me laugh. Like, we're gonna turn you into a drug addict. You'll be addicted to the drugs.
I love when she's like, he's a drug addict, and he's like, hi, I'm Josh.
Oh no, I'm a drug addict now.
I'm an evil villain, in case you didn't know, and she's a stupid bitch. I thought it's my favorite line in the whole movie.
There's one thing about this movie is that when I watched it at first, I said, okay, that wasn't that bad. But yeah, I started thinking about it more throughout my day and started laughing at the quotes in this fucking movie, and it just, like, every single time I introduced myself to somebody at work, I wanted to go on, like, a 4-minute spiel of different badly done accents, and just like, oi, I'm Brett. Wait, that's not right. Hello, I am Brett. I am new person. No, wait, that's not right. Like I started thinking about that, and I started laughing in front of somebody at my work, and I'm just like,
that goes on forever, though.
It goes on forever.
Hi, I'm Franny Glooper.
Forever.
So does the really part that goes on forever too. Like, I want to have sex with you.
Really?
I want to sit on your face.
Really?
I want you to give me a golden shower.
Really?
I want to give you a golden shower.
Really?
Really?
We didn't do anything. She said she wanted to do all this stuff, and I said, really? And that's all that happened, Hectic. This is a movie also that, like, if it could be allowed, because there's a lot of violence and there's a lot of cursing and stuff, it could totally be on Adult Swim. Easily. Too easily. And I think that's, like, maybe intentionally or unintentionally, that was who they were kind of gearing this movie to. So if you've ever sat through, dopey episodes of, like, the Tim and Eric show or something.
Or
like,
Tom Goes to the Mayor or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This is like the same. This is like this is for you, and I always got into that stuff.
Really?
So it.
I like comic books. Smash.
I think. I mean, maybe this might be getting off topic a little bit, but we, growing up, we all had like Monster Vision and all that stuff, and then that went away, and for a couple years we didn't have anything, and then Adult Swim seemed to fill in that void, of like late night adult programming, that is just, but it was like really, really silly, and it's like 10 or 11 minute stories with like Metalocalypse and Squidbillies and all that other bullshit, but
Super Jail.
But and I think that's where I think its influence on films, especially to like the trauma audience, is, I think I would call it glaringly apparent. The scene with the prostitutes was really funny too. I like how
the money.
Oh yeah, when they're just sitting there and just doing it awkwardly long, and they're just fanning out bills. I think that shit's so funny. I was dying, especially when I guess they're getting interviewed at the end, and they're like, "How much money do you make every night?" And she's like, $50 million.
Stop, Mom. The cutaways from the movie and the reality were done very well in this, whether they were staged or not. Like you said, like that scene where they just all of a sudden went in to interview the prostitutes the old prostitute was great. It was so well done.
I'm a prostitute. I turn tricks. We're counting the money again. I like the diner scene too. I thought that was pretty cool. When he's like talking to his dad, and like the waitress comes up, she's like, "You want more coffee?" And he's like, "Fuck you." And then she comes up to Hectic and asks him the same question, and he just like moves the coffee cups toward her. It's like, you get more coffee?
You've changed.
So sometimes you gotta let the bitch fill the cup.
This is a classic one of those movies that it's funnier talking about, in my opinion, than it is watching it, or at least thinking about it afterwards. Because I like just the fact that they found like 6 of those wigs and that awkward dinner that they were having with the family, like with all the same stupid wig on. I was dying laughing.
Yeah, the voodoo doll part was pretty funny too. The black and white, I think, made the blood look like much more gruesome. I thought that was a pretty cool scene. I always love. I love a good black and white movie. This isn't Casablanca or anything, but it's
kind of like a Eraserhead.
Yeah, it is. In a lot of ways, it is like a Eraserhead. It's definitely got like a surreal feeling to it. It's got some of the stop motion stuff that Eraserhead had, and there's just awkward pauses and awkward dialogue and everything. I mean, Lynch probably had a lot more money to screw around with, but it's pretty good. Also one of my favorite scenes is when they're cooking the DVDs.
Oh, that's great.
That was pretty funny.
That actually might be my favorite part of the movie, because I thought that was great.
Boiling the DVD, I feel like I'd bake it. Wouldn't you bake it?
I might bake it, yeah.
Right? Because I don't know, boiling the DVD, that doesn't seem right.
Nah, man, you gotta fry that shit up.
I mean, we're Blu-ray guys, so who knows? But
Oh yeah, that's true. Well, the more money that I pocket now from, I have like a little fund that I put money aside, and I've been buying VHS like crazy. So I might we're not going to become Blood, Guts, and VHS anytime soon, but that's where I've been sinking most of my hard-earned doll hairs.
Doll
as
hairs.
They say.
That's a lot of doll hairs.
There's a lot of doll hairs. I thought the bagel scene was funny, but at one point I wrote in my notes, like, is this fucking bagel scene ever going to end?
I did not find it funny. I was just waiting for it to die, and then when I finally thought it was dead, it just rose back again on the one like full color scene in the movie.
Yeah, but that was cool. I liked how they did that. I thought that was pretty rad. You didn't like that? No. Brett's like, no,
I was done with that
absolutely
scene.
not.
What, you don't like bagels?
Brett doesn't like bagels.
Well,
You didn't hear?
I don't like bagels with nothing on them. No cream cheese, no butter. What is this shit? How old are these fucking bagels?
Bloodbath loved that part. He almost owned a bagel company. Back in the day.
Back in the day, yeah. It was
G-Day
Bloodbath's
bagels!
One definite, my favorite quote of the movie, even though it wasn't necessarily vulgar or hysterical, was, I love when, after Hectic's first encounter with Piggly Doctor, he's talking to Harry, and he just goes, I gotta find Piggly Doctor. And Harry's like, what the fuck are you talking about? You were just at his office. You fucking chased him down the goddamn street. You know exactly where he is. And then they just go on. I'm like, that's fucking awesome.
The Center for Dizziness.
The Center for Dizziness.
Oh, so he's like a neurologist? No, it's just a Center for Dizziness.
Are you dizzy? No, I just do this. And he spins around and stuff.
This rat tastes like shit. I'm eating it now because I live in the wilderness.
I love that part's great too. He's like, "What was she doing? Incantation?" And his face starts getting all crazy behind the fire.
So I'm basically all out of funny quotes for the movie. Does anybody have anything else to add before we take a little break, Skipoo? Bob? Nothing?
No, I'm all out of them.
I think we covered it.
Really?
What?
Really? Wait. Okay. Wait. I got one more piece before we go to break.
Okay.
And it might be one of the top 2 or 3 favorite parts of the movie for me, but the hysterical, self-referential ballad about how bad the song was that Link, the roommate, keeps singing towards the end of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
I fucking love that part.
Yeah, me too. I love that part.
So,
because I didn't know it was gonna happen, and then before I know it, I'm like, oh my god, I'm in an '80s music video because they have his face like shaded over while showing scenes. I'm like, okay, this is really fucking funny.
So I didn't really like the ending very much. The fight on the beach, I thought
that was bad,
kind of dumb. But I watched it after the whole movie was over, and the after party that they had. I don't know if you guys watched that part.
With the waitress, yeah.
Super funny. Maybe one of the better parts. I thought that was really cool. Nice addition. And of course if you watch all the way to the end, the beautiful evil assistant who wants to have Piggly Doctor's baby is trapped in a box. And which says to be continued. So
what do they keep calling Hectic? Because the waitress her attempted a line at the end of the after party. Don't they call him a fucking idiot through the entire film or something?
I'm a fucking idiot.
I'm a fucking idiot.
But you know what I feel like? Piggly Doctor, his assistant. I feel like that was kind of taken from like Kill Bill.
Yes,
right?
I thought the same
with
thing with the eye
patch.
patch. Yeah,
that whole whistling thing. You know, they should have put the whistling thing in there.
Totally. I totally agree. I didn't even think of that until you mentioned it, but yeah, absolutely. All right, so we will be back, and when we come back, we're going to rate the Hectic Knife movie.
You are listening to Blood, Guts, and Blu-ray. We are dedicated to bringing you the show across your favorite medium. We can be found on iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, and YouTube. Please send all suggestions to bloodgutsandbluray@gmail.com. Thank you for listening.
And here we are. One of the things I forgot to mention. Well, actually, you know what? I can make the point in my final thoughts. So, I'm going to yield the floor to Brett. Brett, give us your.
You always pick Brett.
So I am now going to yield the floor to Bub. Bub.
Oh no, I didn't mean to do that. Come on. I'm gonna pass it back to Brett.
All right, I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna take it and run with it. So
come on, Big Tear, do it, Big Tear.
We could totally do the hectic knife and don't you dare, sir. We could totally hectic knife this, and I could pass this back to Bloodbath if we want to. No, I'm kidding. I'll squash it. I'm gonna give it a 2 out of 5 scars. Yet again, I've discussed all throughout this month, and I feel like I'm a broken record at this point. I'm not a particularly big fan of these movies, but this movie had a lot of really funny parts to it, and even through the longest, drag-out, boring parts, especially the time with him, like, quote-unquote training at a basketball court for some reason, but it's India.
In India.
In India. That got old. That got old really fast. But God, it just knew what it was doing, and what it was doing it well. Even though what it's doing is not my favorite, so I gave it a 2 out of 5. I was entertained.
Bob,
I gave it a 3.5 out of 5.
Oh wow! You really, really like this movie.
Wow. I did. I liked it a lot. I think these guys are gonna go far. You know what? It's like their first. It's Peter Liffin's first thing, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. No, this guy's gonna kill it. He's gonna fucking kill it. I'm telling you.
Oh no, I agree with that too. I think he's good. These guys are definitely talented. I think they're gonna go far.
Let me do a little promotion for Peter, because he's his full-time gig is he's a musician, and he just released a video. It's totally not safe for work. It's called Guns Up, and it's a really good song, and the video is really great. So if you got an opportunity, check it out. It's Guns with a Z, by the way. So
wait, the knife guy made a gun song?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no. Loses a point. 2.5. No, I'm just kidding. It's still 3.5.
So the original cut was an hour and 54 minutes. And, it was created in like 2 weeks. That would have been way too long. At 80 some odd minutes, this one feels a bit too long too. It's tough to follow. It's weird. Maybe a little too weird. But I still liked it. The movie is basically carried by self-awareness and funny one-liners. It's gimmicky, sure, but it's poking fun at action horror movies, and you can tell that Greg and Peter and the rest of the cast were having a great time when they were making this movie. And that's what Troma's all about. Like I said before, James Gunn wrote Romeo and Juliet, really cut his teeth in the business that way, and now he's making Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
Romeo was a much bigger budget than this, and it was done over 20 years ago, so who's to say that Greg and Peter can't do the same thing with more doll hairs. Movies like Hectic Knife need to be made, and artists need to start somewhere.
Yes.
If they don't, we will never move past the banal Hollywood output. Imagine where we would be if Lynch didn't make Eraserhead. I give it a 2.5 out of 5. Also, this movie is much funnier the second time around, because you know the one-liners, and you're sort of prepared for what you're seeing is like, it's obviously not the best quality, and you're just totally prepared for it.
I'm kind of excited to watch this again to like you said, just to know what I'm in for, because I didn't know going in, and I can't wait to hear those one-liners, because I feel like I'm going to laugh more because I'm going to think more about talking about it.
So when Hectic Knife 2 comes out, you'll see it.
Oh God, yeah, absolutely, without a doubt, absolutely.
So we never had guests on the show, so between when Peter and Greg listened to this, they need to know. If we all rated a 2, that does generally mean we liked the movie.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Hey, I gave it a 3.5, dude.
I'm just saying, like below a 2 is where we're like, yeah, it had a couple cool parts, but it really wasn't that good. And then if you're below, if you get to a 1 or below, like it's not good.
Yeah, and two is I enjoyed it. I'm happy I watched it. It's basically 2.5 is kind of like, yeah, I'm glad I saw that.
Yeah. So
and my thing is, it's what a great base coding for these individuals, because I want to see what they do in the future.
Yeah. So
dude, I ate nothing but fucking hard-boiled eggs all week to watch this fucking movie and do this podcast.
I'm Bloodbath. Toodaloo.
Good evening.
People say I'm Bub, but mostly I'm a piece of shit.
Thank you for listening to Blood, Guts, and Blu-ray. Written and hosted by Bloodbath, Bub, and Brett667. Edited and produced by Bloodbath. Music has been graciously provided by the Slasher Film Festival Strategy and Nightbirds. Artwork and logo have been provided by Bub. Blood, Guts, and Blu-ray is available on iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, and YouTube. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, as well as @BloodGutsBluray on Twitter, @BloodGutsandBluray on Instagram, and visit our Tumblr page by going to bloodgutsandbluray.tumblr.com. For any questions regarding the show, advertising, or anything else, please send an email to bloodgutsandbluray@gmail.com. Thanks again. Get possessed.
Blood, Guts, and Blu-ray is part of Courts and Parts, podcast network featuring pop culture, TV, movie, and geek podcasts. Check out some of our other shows: Geek Gravy, We Got 5, TV Ate My Brain, and Get Real Movies at courtsandparts.com.